Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Hassett. And after starting out 4-0, the question must be asked, are the Eagles frauds? Now, we beat this drum pretty hard last year, all the way up until the Super Bowl, where it turned out they were frauds. And this year feels awfully familiar, awfully similar. After starting out 4-0, we have to look at the teams they've played and say, maybe this 4-0 Eagles team is not the all-world team people are making them out to be. They beat a Patriots team, which, after yesterday, confirmed stinks. Then they went on to beat, sure, a Kirk Cousins-led team, but a Kirk Cousins-led team that, aside from him, is not very good at all. And then they went on to play the Buccaneers in the infamous rain game, where Baker Mayfield's number one strength was completely limited, and of course the better run game was going to win. And then yesterday they beat the preseason Super Bowl champions, the Commanders, who again are probably not very good. So Patrick, are the Eagles worth the hype they're getting right now, or is it another situation where the Eagles are frauds?
The Eagles are in trouble because their signature play right now is in hot water. The tush push is being figured out, and the Commanders are on the front of the line in doing so. What are the Eagles without a tush push? They have no identity.
Think they're anything. They have no identity outside of the tush push, Patrick, because remember, there were many instances where drives just were able to keep going because it's third and short. You get two tries, and the tush push is going to work one of the two times. It was an undefeated play that nobody could stop, and now all of a sudden, you eliminate that, and you force Jalen Hurts to throw there. You force Jalen Hurts to hand the ball off there. Well, I mean, we have some major problems in Philadelphia. And Patrick, continue.
And the thing is if we've learned anything about handoffs, Josh, things happen. Let's look at Lamar Jackson yesterday. I mean, he just flat out just threw the ball at his running back. Sometimes fumbles happen on handoffs. So if you can't run the tush push, what are the Eagles doing?
Yeah, we don't know, Patrick, but I mean, they might have to figure it out because, again, a lot of people, to be fair to the media, a lot of people are not crowning the Eagles the Super Bowl champs yet. There are some people who are going to wait because, you remember, up until yesterday, the Dolphins were the Super Bowl champions. So there were some people hesitant to give that crown to the Eagles. But I think people are saying that Jalen Hurts needs to figure this out. And I think that's potentially right. I think that he doesn't look the same as last year. I think that maybe their team is taking a slight step back. And if you couldn't win the Super Bowl last year, it feels like their window might be closed. And people are going to hate me for saying that, but sue me. Everyone who lives in the Philadelphia area right above my state, you guys can suck it. The Eagles are frauds. Patrick, one last thing you want to add.
The Eagles will not win the 2023 Super Bowl.
Bingo. So that was an exciting segment. We had to get that off our chest. Moving on, this is actually another it's a great Monday for us, Patrick.
It is.
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and the Bengals building is on fire, and it doesn't feel like anyone's there to put it out. We have to wonder, is there some internal conflict brewing in Cincinnati? After a rough start, a 1-3 start, the media was asking Jamar Chase about the game, and they were alluding to, hey, is there something that's going on with you? Are you unable to get some separation? Or, what's preventing you from getting the ball? Jamar Chase responds, I'm open. I'm always effing open. And so now we have to wonder, who is that a shot at? Is that a shot at Joe Burrow for being unable to get him the ball? And if Jamar's taking shots at Joe Burrow, what's Joe Burrow's excuse? Is it because of his injury that he's unable to see Jamar Chase open? Or does this go back to a deeper problem? Is Joe Burrow regressing? Now, a lot of people are telling me, Patrick, that Joe Burrow is still a top 5 quarterback in this league. I have not seen it this year yet. What's going on in Cincinnati, Patrick? And will they ever win a game again? Not to overreact.
It's a tough one here, Josh, because you look around at the rest of the league. In the rest of the league, through 4 weeks, you can go, okay, it looks like this team's getting better. This area of this team's doing, we're making strides. We can see the improvement we're putting in. And I don't know if it's because the Bengals have to practice outside every day, but it looks like they don't practice. And
they have an indoor practice facility. They do have one.
Oh, congratulations to them. I mean, the times are changing.
They built the bubble. Yeah, but continue.
It's good. But yeah, I mean, so you look around and trouble in paradise is all I'm going to say.
It is. I mean, it's troubling for sure. It's never good when your wide receiver is taking shots through the media about him always being open. Now, if you ask pretty much every wide receiver in the league, were you open every play today? I would say about 97% of them would say, I'm open every play.
Yeah.
Because I've never, and Patrick, I've never heard of a situation where a wide receiver's not getting the ball and it's on the wide receiver. It's always just if they just got the ball, everything would be better. Just throw them the ball. They're open, right? And so we have to imagine that everything he said is true. Without looking at the tape, we have to assume that Jamar Chase was wide open every single play. And so with that, we have to look at, Joe Burrow, he's got to figure it out. But it doesn't look good because he's not getting healthier. They lost to a Titans team who's not that great and who has not figured out who their starting quarterback should be yet. They're still running with Ryan Tannehill. Can you imagine what would happen, what the Bengals score would be yesterday if they put in Malik Willis? I mean we're talking about a Dolphins versus Broncos level just blowout. So, it feels great to see the Bengals kind of collapse like this because crappy run organizations, they're going to find a way to lose eventually. And it feels so good to see it right before my eyes when they have the highest paid quarterback.
Yeah, and you know what they say about bad organizations, the cream rises to the top. And we're starting to see that be true again.
So, pretty sweet. Now, this next segment, Patrick, it ticks me off because I was invested in it. I was believing in it. Despite the fact that Zach Wilson outplayed Patrick Mahomes.
He did.
The refs decided to team up with Pat, put on the jersey, and go out there and play the game of their lives for the Chiefs. Now, was this because the spotlight was the brightest? Maybe they saw Taylor Swift in the building and said they want to put on a show for her. Whatever the reason may be, the Chiefs won with the refs. The Jets almost won despite the refs. And if the Jets defense can figure out a way to get Zach Wilson the ball at the end of the game, we're talking about a completely different story this morning. Patrick, what happened in that Jets game, and how come, despite the fact that he played significantly better, Zach Wilson wasn't victorious last night?
Josh, I started looking at the stats this morning, and I'm going, Patrick Mahomes only has a quarterback rating of 63.6. And you start looking around at the Jets, and you go, Zach Wilson has 105. If the referees don't extend that game last night, you let Zach Wilson get the ball back, and we don't know what's going to happen because Zach proved last night that he can put this team on his back.
With Aaron Rodgers in the building, I don't know if he felt that little extra, that boost. I don't know if Aaron brought some good energy or what he did, but Zach Wilson looked like a completely changed quarterback. He looked I'd borderline good, is what I'll say. Now, I said this to Dave Klein. Dave Klein goes, he only put up 20 points. And my response to that was, well, he was good for 27, but he didn't get the ball at the end. So, you have to take that to account. But it feels like potentially if he can continue to play well, the Jets might win some games this year, legitimately. And you don't bring in Joe Flacco, you bring in Simeon. And again, I thought that was going to be a detrimental move to the organization. Turns out, it's all right.
I can't get over what you just called Trevor Simeon. Yeah, I mean, you bring him in, and the endless potentials of a guy like that. Yeah. Oh.
So, I mean, they're good for the Jets, man. They're figuring it out.
Yeah, they are. Well, because you got Fireman Ed there. When Fireman Ed is bought into this team,
that's what he's doing.
We see how good they can be. Now, at the end of the day, we know that the New York Jets, the history tells us lately that they are losers. But I'll tell you what, their fans are invested losers because they got some guys on this team that can make a difference. And Zach Wilson legitimately was a QB1 last night in this league.
Yeah. Zach Wilson, the rise of Zach Wilson is going to be one that I follow pretty closely. And I think we're all going to have to follow it closely because they probably have about 14 more primetime games left this year. So we're going to see Zach Wilson under the lights again. And when that happens, we're going to be very excited about it. Speaking of guy who's performing and nobody's talking about it, and I mean nobody. Baker Mayfield is playing potentially the season of his life. And despite playing the season of his life, he was getting no press coverage.
No coverage.
And aside from the loss to the Eagles in the rain, Patrick.
Not his fault.
And nobody's talking about that. Yeah, it's not his fault. Did he make it rain and make it so that the passing game was non-existent? And did he set up the team? And was he the GM of the team that made his run game pretty bad? No.
He didn't do that.
Baker Mayfield is still a top 5 quarterback in this league. It's right now. Right now. Okay, you heard me say it. And I think the Buccaneers might have a higher ceiling than people are expecting, and a division where they're almost guaranteed to make it to the playoffs. Are we going to see potentially a Baker Mayfield run, an all-time Baker Mayfield run here?
Cocky Baker is back. And when you bring that type of cockiness and attitude to Tampa, look, people, they're going to be riding the ship. Everybody's going to be hopping on down there in Tampa Bay because you're letting Baker bake. And that's what happens. He's got the team on his back right now. How can you not buy into this organization?
The only issue is Mike Evans is very good at football, and I'd argue a key factor to what they're doing and their success. And you take out Mike Evans, and I do get a little nervous because he was a tool in Baker's arsenal that he really liked to use. And
Didn't play the second half yesterday.
I don't know if we know the 100% status of Mike Evans moving forward yet.
We don't.
But if there's a question mark there, we understand that there's a question mark. But I legitimately do believe that the Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield might do have a chance to surprise some people here. And we look at their schedule coming up, and I think that especially within the division that they play, now some people are overhyping that division, which I don't understand. I think the Buccaneers can do it. I mean, let's look at the games they play here, Patrick, coming up. We got a Lions game. Of course, that's going to be tough. But then you get the Falcons. You get the Bills. That's going to be tough. You got the Texans. They are pretty good. You got the Titans. Easy win. They got 49ers. Okay, it is going to be tough. You got the Colts. Boom, win. Panthers, win. Falcons, win. Packers, win.
All-time run.
Jaguars potentially win. Saints win. Close it out with the Panthers. Win. I mean, they're going to go. They could go on an all-time run. So good for them. Moving on, Patrick. We got Bills versus Dolphins. Patrick, sure. I mean, everyone was telling me the Dolphins were going to win by 50, and they went into the game +3, and everyone was telling me that the books were so wrong, man, that they were so dumb. Like, we're finally going to beat Vegas, is what everyone was telling me. Patrick, what happened in that game, and how come the Dolphins didn't put up 70 points? Because I was told they're going to put up probably 70 every week.
Well, they decided to wear the aqua pants. Like, you can't go on the road, wear the aqua pants, and think you're going to show up in Buffalo, a gritty city, and get a win like that. That can't happen. That's a mistake. And that's on Mike McDaniel. He's got to get that figured out for his team, because if I'm in the locker room, I'm going, you know what, Mike? This is you trying to put us apart, because you can't show up in Buffalo and wear the aqua pants.
So the aqua pants, you think, were a big part of the reason why they lost?
Huge part, because we know that Tua is had some issues with falling, but he's learned because he's got that jiu-jitsu background now, and so you look around and he's used to being in college, seeing traditional colors. He's a Crimson Tide guy. He's playing around traditional powers. Aqua. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't thought about that before, but maybe that definitely played a factor. If I'm the Dolphins, I never wear the aqua pants again. But people are saying, I mean, and Frank the Tank, Patrick, I don't know if you saw his video. He's saying Dolphins are dead. He said completely, friend of the show, Frank the Tank, says Dolphins are completely dead. And that is tough to hear that. And because we didn't want it to be true. I was told that once Tua learned the jiu-jitsu, that it was over. And that was going to be what sealed the league. And I think in hindsight, turns out when you're playing, when you put up 70 against a defense that the Bears, put up more than 20, it's probably not a great defense. I think that says a lot more. It says more about the team you're playing, I think, than you.
Yeah, but I don't understand the offensive strategy. I just don't understand the offensive strategy for Miami. They did not get Robbie Chosen the ball yesterday. You give Robbie Chosen the ball, things work out differently.
Robbie Chosen, man. And you're talking about a guy, Robbie Chosen. I mean, I saw a picture of this guy, Patrick. Striking resemblance to Chosen Anderson. I mean,
it looks just like him.
Just and if you have to imagine his play is probably pretty similar as well.
Right. And because let's not forget, Chosen Anderson, he's a trade guy. Like, that's a piece you go out and get to add to your team. So if Robbie Chosen's anything like that, you got to get him the ball in Miami.
Yeah. I mean, I 100% agree. And because if again, like, you look at the similarities and the build types, you have to imagine plays probably pretty similar, and that's an elite guy you want playing on your team. But you also get the Tyreek kill the ball only 3 times, and it feels like that's not enough. Yeah, because he is pretty good. So get Tyreek kill the ball. Maybe I think get Robbie Chosen the ball. The Dolphins, they're going to figure it out. We don't need to overreact. They're going to figure it out. But Josh Allen, the Bills make a statement win. So they feel good about themselves. They did lose to the Jets, but maybe the Jets are elite, Patrick, because they went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs last night. So anything's possible, Because that was Aaron. Remember, that was Aaron Rodgers in the building, Zach Wilson, who was a completely different guy.
Completely different guy. And yeah, you're right, Josh. You're right.
So if you think about it, that loss was, they were playing a good team on that Monday, that Thursday night game, or was it that Monday night game? So okay, Patrick, this segment I'm excited for. We kind of talked about it briefly 2 seconds ago. This segment is called "When Will the Bears Win a Game?" And it's a fun segment. I think we can really use our imagination here. Now, a lot of people are saying and bringing up the fact that I don't think the Bears have won a game in this calendar year. Definitely in the calendar year, but I think in the last 365 days as well. Is that correct, Patrick?
Correct.
I know a lot of people want to bring up the point that the Bears have not won a game since Elon Musk took over Twitter. Now X. So the question is, how much stuff in life will change from now until the Bears next win a game? Patrick, when is your prediction? You can use weeks in this season and next season, whenever you want. But when will the Bears win a game?
Yeah, I think between now and the Bears winning the game, I think so. Over another year, Josh, I think we're looking at an 0-17 roster this year.
No.
We put the pieces together, but Josh, you got to realize you're going to bring in Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. next year, and you put those two on that squad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would turn out that it's a culture changer, but it would turn out that you still need a lot of other guys. There's 20 other guys you need to fill a roster with. They stink.
Yeah, but do you think if they bring in Caleb Williams, like, will they have like a 2-back situation with obviously Khalil Herbert, and then with Justin Fields? Are they going to be splitting reps, or do they trade Khalil Herbert away and then just keep like a 1-man back in the backfield? Maybe try to get like a 3rd-round pick for Khalil, and then you could really help rebuild other parts of the team in the draft, because again, they have a solid running back, and if you get a solid quarterback, you don't really need 2 really solid running backs, you know?
Right, and that's the thing is, you look at Matt Eberflus and this Bears coaching staff, they're not using Justin Fields in his proper position. They're not using him in the right system. You move Justin Fields to running back and bring in Caleb Williams as your quarterback, you're talking about an elite duo in this league, because let's not forget, Justin Fields is a top 12 running back in this league. So then you bring in a guy that's supposed to be one heck of a draft pick like Caleb Williams. Now you open up the trick playbook, because we know Justin Fields as a running back can occasionally make an accurate throw occasionally. So, the trick plays would be an endless possibility.
Yeah, they could get really creative there, and that's exciting. Personally, for me, Patrick, do I want to say that they're gonna sneak a win against the preseason Super Bowl champions, the Commanders, even as close as next week? Yes, I'm tempted. I'm the button's right here, Patrick. I want to press it, but I'm not going to press it. I am going to hold off because I'm going to look ahead. But I'll tell you what, Patrick, I'm keeping an eye on. I'm circling the Panthers Bears game.
Wow,
because I think the Panthers are not very good. And I think
that would be breaking news.
I just think that there's just might be a chance that the Panthers, right? I'm going to just hear me out, Patrick.
I'm hearing you out.
The Panthers intentionally. Wait a second. No, never mind. My logic's flawed. Because if they lose, Patrick, that it actually helps them with the. Yeah, never mind. So they're definitely going to win that game. No, they're definitely going to lose that game. Carolina's not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so then never mind, Patrick. I'm going official prediction. They will win. They will win in the next 7 weeks. They will have a win. I'm not going to say exactly when, but they will win within the next 7 weeks.
What a bold prediction. You just said over the next 7 weeks they're going to get a win. That's great.
Yes. Is that too much? Is that too far? I know people.
That's
a lot
like
of people
saying like
because
that's like being that's like being the weatherman and being like, yeah, like we might get an inch of snow tonight. It also might be like 1.5 feet.
No, well, the thing is, Patrick, this is a lot. We do a lot of jokes on this show, and some people don't really interpret them as jokes. But in that scenario, like I'm not trying to be outlandish and say it's going to be as soon as 7 weeks, you know? Like, I do think there's a chance that they win within the next 7 weeks, Patrick. Like, that's real. Like, and I know that's probably counter to what everyone thinks, and that's makes it outlandish. And a lot of people on the internet are going to say, "Oh, Josh, you're just a talking head, just throwing out crazy things that will never happen just to get views." No, I genuinely think it's possible that the Bears could get a win within the next 7 weeks.
And if they don't, Josh, I think the Bears should bring back Jay Cutler, because it would be an all-time reunion tour. Because if you're not going to win with Justin Fields anyway, just bring in Jay Cutler.
Well, what I love is that the Bears, right? They basically fired their previous coach, right?
Matt
Nagy, for basically going 10-6, right?
Yes.
And since then they haven't won even 10 games. So it's just
it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
It's been a tough time there in Chicago, man. Hey, but they're gonna figure it out. I think they're moving the stadium out of Chicago. I believe they're gonna get potentially Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. here 1-2. I mean, that's a Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase move. And if we know anything about that move, the Bears, Patrick, have a chance to, in 2 years, go on an all-time run and almost win the Super Bowl. I mean, then they'll probably be bad again, is what history, if the comparison's anything alike. But they have a chance to go on an all-time run here. So, good for the Bears.
And if we know anything, moving your stadium outside of your city, it just makes everyone happy.
Yep, everyone loves that. And, Al Michaels is not going to bring it up on broadcast. Last thing, Patrick, the Toy Story review. You guys come to us for the reviews. Toy Story game happens. We heard about it for a while. We saw the jokes. We saw the memes. But there was a game on ESPN at 9 o'clock that was
9:30.
Toy Story. And a lot of people, Patrick, didn't realize you can get the actual game on ABC. And there are legit
It was on ESPN Plus,
grown adults who watched. No, so ESPN had the Toy Story game. ABC had the non-Toy Story game. And ESPN Plus also had the non-Toy Story game. So, but if you weren't an ESPN Plus subscriber, there were a lot of non-ESPN Plus subscribers that watched the entire Toy Story game, not because they just thought that was the only option.
Josh, none of this is true. The game was not on ABC.
That's what my sources told me.
Well, your sources are really wrong, and I would double check them.
Fine.
It was a streaming only game, Josh. It was strictly a streaming game.
Hold up. Was the Falcons game on ABC? Okay. Hold up. October 2nd. Because
October
my sources
1st.
Is gonna take my October 1st. Jeez. Okay.
Yep. We can't even get the date right. So how do we if we can't get the day right, how do we think we're gonna get the channel right? I'm looking,
Patrick. Hold up. Because geez, I cannot stand that for paying for articles. We live in just a messed up world. Okay, so TV streaming on ESPN Plus, sure. If you have an HD TV antenna and the game is being carried by the ABC affiliate in your local market, you can watch for free. Boom!
Only in Jacksonville. Only in Jacksonville and Atlanta.
Okay. So we were kind of both right.
No.
We were kind of both right, Patrick, because if you think about it, it was on ABC.
Whatever, Josh.
So that's cool. Hey, way to end on a high note for me on the show here.
Yeah, that was good. It's the small wins in life, right, Josh?
Boom. 2-0 in the fantasy. Bengals lost. Ravens won. And I was right about the Toy Story game being on on ABC, which, by the way, we didn't even get to the review of it. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
It was good.
That's
It was
my
cool.
review.
There's nothing like watching Slinky back that thing up.
Oh, dude, Slinky, man, he was star of the show. The Claw was also pretty sweet, and I loved how the little alien guy would come up, pop up little things on the sign. It's pretty sweet. So more of that for sure. We would love to see it. And if you live in the local market, you can watch the game on ABC. You do not have to watch it on ESPN Plus. And we found that out, and I knew it. I was right. Cool. Anyway, guys, that's the show. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys are new to the show, make sure, again, subscribe. You guys can also go to picksandpancakes.com to read everything happening in sports. Also, if you DM us at Picks and Pancakes on Instagram, we will send you a free mug and a $10 McDonald's gift card. It's just something easy you can do. Because we all know, based on the analytics, we got a lot of people tuning in at this point of the show. So make sure you guys
It just hit me,
that.
Josh. It's been since March for the gift card.
Guys, we're going to get rid of this gift card. We believe. But anyway, we'll see you guys tonight for the TikTok live stream. And then we'll see you guys on Friday for another episode of Josh and Pat. A peace.